Hey everybody, it's that time of the week again. Time for your poem of the week, coming to you live from Austin, Texas. Only this ain't Austin, this is Kyle. Pie-eating capital of Texas. If you live in Texas, you might as well say pie-eating capital of the world. Hear, hear, time for your fun Texas fact. The city of Austin was originally called Waterloo. Yes, we can. There's your aphorism. How y'all doing? Pull up a chair. We got plenty of seats right up front. And while you're at it, show me some love. Hit the love button and it will come back to you in infinity. Don't hit the anger button though. We got plenty of that in this world. Oh, how y'all doing? Indeed, we are going to have a special guest, Ann Sauder. And Ann and I, as well as Karen Mall, will be performing live and in person at Radio Beer and Coffee over on Mad Shack. Thanks for the love button. Hey, Kathy, how you doing? Please hang around after your poem of the week for your moment of spin. Here we are in Kyle, Texas. We are listening to Pete Weiss and the Weistronauts. Thanks to Pete Weiss for letting me use his music. You should check out Pete Weiss and the Weistronauts. If you can afford to support me or this broadcast, you can do so at paypal.com/baldchandler, or you can do so at venmo.com/The Chris Chandler Show. And if you can be a continuing contributor, you can do so at patreon.com/The Chris Chandler Show. Let's get right to it. Let's have our special guest. How you doing, Ann?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Chris?
Okay under the circumstances.
Excellent.
You are the joining an elite group of people who have been on this show twice now, including Ann Feeney and David Rovix, who have been on this show twice.
Well, I'm pleased as punch. And pie!
And pie. I did not know that about Kyle, Texas. You never told me that. I looked it up.
You didn't ask. It's right down the street, though. I can bring you a pie to radio.
That would be excellent. I love pie.
Yeah, me too.
I think this is an important poem to do because the world is facing a new refugee crisis. And I would like to think of it as a refugee opportunity. We don't have a great track record in this country with our refugees. In fact, my fair city of Stone Mountain has accepted more Syrian refugees than New York City and Los Angeles combined. Maybe we can do different this time. Because the very thing that makes America great is the thing that we are most afraid of. Our people.
Why do we build the wall? My children, why do we build the wall? Why do we build the wall? We build the wall to keep us free. That's why we build the wall. We build the wall to keep us free.
From the beginning, America has been a hodgepodge of sundry and emerging groups. It's what makes us great. 300 years ago, and even last week, it was the best and the brightest that came here. It was the adventurers, the free thinkers, the risk takers that came here. It was the debtor, the ne'er-do-wells, looking to start over, the extremists, the fanatics, the radicals, the persecuted, and the prospector that longed for the new salvation of a new beginning. It was the draft dodgers, the exiled intellectuals, the starving, the industrious, the refugees.
How does the wall keep us free? My children,
There were 2.5 million non-native people living in what is now known as the United States, and no nationality held a clear majority. 20% were from African descent, which is more than from any single country in Europe. At one point, it could be argued that the 18th century version of Swahili was the most spoken word in the language in the Western Hemisphere. Now granted, they did not come here willingly. It is our greatest shame that it has taken us so long to realize the gifts that Africans had to offer. And even though Africans were subjugated for most of their history in the Western Hemisphere, the contributions they have made to what makes America great is truly immeasurable. And the same can be said of the contributions of those we have most mistreated, the Native Americans, and also the Chinese and the Mexicans. Most of our greatest achievements have been at the behest of the newcomer, the outcast, the refugee.
Who do we call the enemy? My children, who do we call the enemy? Who do we call the enemy? The enemy is poverty, and the wall keeps out the enemy, and we build the wall to keep us free. That's why we build the wall. We build the wall to keep us free.
It was the newcomer, the immigrant, the refugee, that put his body on the line against an armed private militia in the struggle to give us our greatest achievement as a country, the 8-hour day. He was the newcomer, the immigrant, the refugee, that swelled the ranks of the Union Army as we put an end to slavery at the barrel of a gun, the only country in human history to do that. It was the newcomer, the immigrant, the refugee, educated in our universities that sat in Houston, Texas and Cape Canaveral as we put a human being on the moon. It takes a great deal of courage and gumption to come to a new land and start over. Once you get there, the one thing you still got is courage and gumption. Even today, it is what makes us great. Even if it is what we fear the most. Many fear the newcomer, but I say, what does the newcomer have to offer? We are still so new. We are all, after all, newcomers. We are so young and so big that Europeans poke fun at us for thinking that 200 years is a long time. Yet somehow they think 200 miles is a long way. Our American trailblazers have conquered great distances with a mule and an axle.
Because we have and they have not, my children, because they want what we have got. Because they want what we have got, because we have and they have not. The enemy is poverty, and the wall keeps out the enemy, and we build the wall to keep us free. That's why we build the wall. We build the wall to keep us free.
And we, a largely impoverished, rural, uneducated, loose collection of villages, were able to defeat the mightiest army on earth and declare ourselves free. And we did it with nothing but a wagon load of hunting rifles. Only a great and inspired people could do that. Yes, what we have done with that history has not always been pretty. No people's history is pretty. Perhaps if our history were pretty, it would surely be that. History. Pretty people don't last. And in America, it is often the ugliest of the ugly that prevail. But somehow, prevail we do. But today, I choose to celebrate what is great about our country. Our diversity.
What do we have that they should want? My children, what do we have that they should want? What do we have that they should want? We have a wall to walk upon. We have work and they have none. And our work is never
makes a great America great is the thing that we are most afraid of. Our people.
The enemy is poverty, and the wall keeps out the enemy, and we build the wall to keep us free. That's why we build the wall. We build the wall to keep us free. We build the wall to keep us free.
Ann Sauder, our special guest here on your Poem of the Week. Thank you so much for gathering around. This has been your Poem of the Week, and we are ready for your Moment of Spin. Are you ready? You ready for the Moment of Spin, Ann?
I'm ready for the moment of spin.
Oh, come on. Hang around here for a second.
I'm hanging.
Your Moment of Spin. Give me a number between 1 and 3. What do you got, Ann? Between 1 and 3.
Oh, 7.
There-
I mean, numbers work differently in my brain. 3.
3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, between. Okay.
Well, you're right. Actually, 2 is the only whole number between 1 and 3. But you know what I meant.
You know, I am very imaginative.
So do you want to pick the next number, or do you want to give it to the audience?
Give it to the audience.
We are reading from Observations from a Roadside Diner. Give me a number between 1 and 135. 1 and 135. I know it takes a few minutes for your reaction. Hey, Annie, how you doing? Watching up in Maine. Maine in the house.
Mine.
We got people in Maine watching us. Jenny Wiggins says 24.
Ooh.
Jenny, is there some significance to 24
Like
for
my
you?
age.
Yes, my age.
Last year. It's the date.
Well, this seems appropriate because I am actually sitting in a chair.
All right.
Just for you, Jenny. I am comfortable with the fact that a comfortable chair allows me to be comfortable with myself while I'm reading my self-help books that teach me to be comfortable with myself. There you have your Moment of Spin. That is from Credit History, which was recorded by me and Ann Feeney on the album Flying Poetry Circus, and the poem was written by me and Phil Rockstro. Phil's a great poet. You should check out his work, and thank you so much for gathering around, and we will see you next time. Tell us a story, Chandler! So long.